SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back, Spartan Nation. Our next guest doesn't really need an introduction. He's been on this show before. He's a big offensive tackle, and, man, we just really like him, like the way he plays the game, like everything about him. It's Justin Stevens. He's out of Clarkson Football North and out of Burlington, Ontario, but he's obviously, when we talked to him before, I let you guys know he's down in the States now. Let's bring him in. Justin, how are you, buddy?
I'm great, Hondo. How are you doing tonight?
Good. Thank you for getting back with us and letting us have you back on.
Yeah, no problem. The first interview was awesome, and I enjoyed the show, enjoyed the article, so my pleasure.
Well, it's good to have you on again. Thank you. I want to ask you, what did you think of your visit, Justin?
Well, it really was like an incredible experience for my first college game day and visit, and my second time on campus at Michigan State. It was great to go around and check out some of the facilities and get a more in-depth tour of the weight room, and then just the practice locker room, and just see where I would be on a daily basis if I attended Michigan State. So it was great. Gave me great perspective, and then the game was unbelievable. The crowd was something I haven't seen before. I was able to talk to Dan Antonio for a little bit before the game at midfield. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Now, you also got to spend time, though, with Jim Bowman, and that's a key player because he's the offensive line coach.
Yeah. Coach Bowman, we've had some calls set up in the past weeks. It's great to see him again. I saw him at the camp. We had a good talk at the camp, but overall, it's great to talk to him, kind of milk his brain again, because he knows a lot about offensive line and a lot about football in general. So being around him every minute, you kind of have to soak it all in.
Let me ask you, if you don't mind, I just want to get your thoughts, just your thoughts on the whole process. So overall, what did you think of Michigan State?
I think it's an amazing institution and an amazing football team, and a place where I think I could see myself calling home for 4 to 5 years.
Good for you, Justin. I know that you have a bunch of offers. I know that you'd like to get one from Michigan State. I'm just curious, what would that mean to you to pick up an offer from Michigan State?
I think it would mean a lot. It's hard to not consider them in the final few picks when looking at a school, because just their history and overall how dominant the program is. It'd be hard to just look over that. So.
That's a really good point. We're talking to Justin Stevens, a terrific offensive lineman. Justin, for people that didn't hear our first interview when you were on the show, tell them about the transition coming, obviously, from Canada, why you picked where you did near your brother. Would you tell everyone that story in case they didn't hear it the first time?
So I come from a small town out east, and it's called Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. And I played football since 9th grade, and I loved it ever since I started playing. When I picked up the ball, it was just kind of something that clicked with me. I needed to, bring up the talent and play at another level of football. So I decided to make the transfer over to Clarkson Football North in Mississauga, Ontario. And they play teams top 25. This week we got Menor. We play Menor in Ohio, which is a top 25 team. They were in the state championship last year, and they lost to St. Edwards, who we again have on our schedule this year. Play IMG, St. Francis, Baltimore. That's the number 1 team in the nation. So it's like we're going up against top tier guys, and get that film and the exposure you get from going up against some of the best people in the nation, it puts you on a whole nother level for like a recruiting standpoint.
That's awesome. Justin, we really appreciate you recapping the visit. So I just want to ask you, what stood out most about either the facilities or what stood out with you about anything? What really got your attention? Or let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that a little bit. Let me ask you from a different angle. What stood out to you the most for you personally, just about the entire trip? It can be facilities, it can be anything.
So I think one thing that really stood out was being fortunate to speak to Dan Antonio just before the game. He's a busy dude, important dude over there at Michigan State, and just to be able to have a few words with him, with I believe a center who's committed in the 2020 class, Dallas. It was just it was kind of mind blowing, and just something that as a kid growing up, you don't really expect that someday you'll be sitting in front of 70,000 people talking to a head coach for an amazing football program. So when I was sitting in the middle of the field, it was like it was something that still leaves me a bit speechless, because just the noise and just the sound, the environment, the atmosphere, it's shocking. It's something else.
Now,
yeah.
On your very first interview you did with me, you talked about what it would be like to be at a big school, the crowd and all that. I heard from a couple of fans who saw you in the stands that they're like, hey, you're the recruit, come to Michigan State, whatever, and they had heard you on this show, so they emailed me. Were you surprised that, that people knew who you were?
Yeah, definitely. That was it's definitely a weird thing, even on Twitter, getting some messages from just fans of Michigan State. It's awesome. I love it. Love every moment of it. Respond to all the messages I get.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Well, he's Justin Stevens. He's a big, powerful offensive tackle. I like everything about his game. I think he's under the radar because he played in Canada. But I'm going to tell you, folks, Michigan State likes him, and I like him too. We'll be right back.